wasn't at my uncle's funeral. That part is important. I loved Uncle Cal, sure, but I hadn't seen him in years. When he passed away, I sent flowers, a card. Grief from a distance, the kind we tell ourselves is enough when we don't have the energy to go home. So when a thick manila envelope showed up in my mailbox a week later, no return address, just my name written in black marker, I figured it was more condolences, or maybe an old keepsake from his estate. Inside were photographs, about a dozen of them. Glossy, 4x6, all clearly taken at the funeral. I froze, because in every single photo, I was in the background. The first shot was of the casket, surrounded by family, and there I was, blurred off to the side, standing under a tree, wearing a black coat I don't own. I laughed at first, nervous, disbelieving. It must have been someone who looked like me, right? But in the next photo, I was closer. Same black coat, pale face, blank expression, no purse, no phone in my hand. Just standing there with my arms at my sides, eyes fixed on the casket. The third photo, I was behind my cousin Evan, closer still, almost centered. It was me, but I hadn't been there. I hadn't been there. I called my mom. She sounded tired, drained in the way people do after a funeral. I asked her to describe it. She mentioned the rain, how Aunt Lila couldn't stop crying, how Evan read a poem. I asked if she remembered seeing me. She paused. "Of course I did," she said. "You barely spoke. Thought you were just processing." I nearly dropped the phone. I wasn't there. "Honey," she said gently, "I know you were upset, but you don't have to pretend." I didn't go, Mom. Dead silence. Then I hung up. That night I couldn't sleep. I laid the photos out across the floor, trying to make sense of them. There were tiny differences in each one. The position of the people, the expressions, the lighting. But I was always present, always closer to the camera, always staring. In one, my head was slightly tilted. In another, my eyes looked unfocused, like I was looking through the lens. The final photo was different. It wasn't at the funeral at all. It was my house, taken from the street, and in the window, my bedroom window, was the same version of me. Pale, blank, watching. I live alone. I threw the envelope and the pictures into the trash, heart hammering. It had to be a trick, a sick joke, deep fake AI crap. Something. I couldn't explain the window photo, but I convinced myself I was just tired, grieving, slipping. I slept with the lights on. The next day, I came home from work and found the envelope on my kitchen table. Pristine. Not a wrinkle, not a speck of trash, like it had never been thrown out at all. Inside were new photos. These weren't from the funeral. They were of me, doing things I didn't remember doing. One showed me sleeping in bed, mouth open, twisted in the sheets. Another showed me brushing my teeth, eyes red and puffy like I'd been crying. Another from that very morning, standing at my front door staring out. But the worst one, it showed me holding the first envelope, The timestamp on the back was exactly 3 minutes in the future. I checked every window, every door, every closet. Nothing. But when I looked in the mirror, I felt off, like I was seeing myself a second too late, like my reflection was still catching up. That night, I set up my phone to record while I slept. I told myself I wouldn't look at the footage unless something weird happened. But at 3:12 a.m., I woke up gasping, not from a noise, from the sensation that I wasn't alone. The air in my room felt wrong, heavy, like someone had just left or was standing just out of reach. My phone was on the floor. The video was still recording. I watched it the next morning. At first, it was uneventful, just me shifting in my sleep. Then, at 2:39 a.m., a figure walked into frame. From the direction of the closet, it looked exactly like me. Same pajamas, same posture, same slight limp I'd had all week from a twisted ankle. She stood next to the bed staring down at me. At one point she reached out, fingers just inches from my face, and then pulled back. She turned to the phone, stared directly into the lens, then leaned down and smiled. Right before the screen went black, I didn't go to work. I stayed home, sat in the kitchen with a knife and all the lights on. At noon, I got a text from a number I didn't know. Just one word: smile. I dropped the phone. An alert popped up. Motion detected from my Ring camera. I opened the feed. It was me, standing on the porch. Except I wasn't. I was inside. But the woman outside looked just like me. Same clothes, same expression. And she wasn't knocking, just staring into the camera, head slightly tilted like in the funeral photos. Then she turned and walked out of frame. I went to the police. They took my statement, treated me like I was fragile, wrote down the details, but I could tell they didn't believe me. I gave them the photos, the funeral ones, the ones of me sleeping, even the new ones that had appeared the night before. When I returned home, everything was quiet. No envelope, no messages, no movement. I started to think it was over. Until last night. I got a package, wrapped in brown paper, no label. Inside, a single framed photo. Me, lying in a casket, eyes closed, hands folded, same black coat. In the background were my family members, mom, cousins, even the same priest from Uncle Cal's funeral. I dropped it. The glass shattered, written underneath the photo in tiny black script: "We missed you the first time. Don't worry, you'll be there for the next." I'm writing this now because I don't know how much longer I have. I haven't slept in 2 days. Every mirror shows me with a different expression. My own voice sounds unfamiliar when I speak. And tonight, I heard my front door open, but it didn't close. I just got another envelope. There's only one photo inside. It's my living room, taken from behind the couch, me at the table, writing this. But in the background, behind the couch, almost out of frame, is someone watching. Only half her face is visible, but I know who it is. She's smiling.